Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Simple English Cast, the podcast where we talk in easy, natural English about real life, real emotions, and real conversations. I'm Alex, and I'm really happy you're here with us today.
And I'm Meera. Thank you so much for joining us. Today's topic is something almost everyone thinks about at some point. Love, relationships, and why feelings can sometimes feel confusing.
That's a big topic already, Mira. I feel like the word love sounds simple, but when people actually experience it, things become complicated very quickly.
Exactly. And today we're not talking like teachers or experts. We're just having a friendly conversation, like two friends talking honestly. And while you listen, you can also practice English naturally.
Yes, because learning English works best when you hear real conversations, not textbook conversations. Real ones with emotions, opinions, and sometimes even confusion.
Let me start by asking you a simple question. When you hear the word love, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
That's a good question. Honestly, the first thing that comes to my mind is connection. Feeling close to someone, feeling safe sharing your thoughts and feelings without being judged.
That's a beautiful answer. I think for me, love feels like comfort, like when you can sit with someone in silence and still feel happy.
Oh, that's very relatable. Sometimes silence with the right person feels better than talking with someone who doesn't understand you.
Exactly. And listeners, you can notice something already. We are using very simple English, but we're still expressing deep feelings. You don't need complicated vocabulary to talk about emotions.
That's such an important point. Many English learners think they must use difficult words to sound fluent, but actually, simple words often sound more natural and honest.
Do you think people today understand love clearly, or do they feel confused about it?
I think many people feel confused. There are so many movies, songs, and social media posts that show love as something perfect and magical all the time. But real relationships are not always like that.
Yes, social media creates strong expectations. People see photos of perfect couples, perfect dates, perfect gifts, but they don't see the difficult conversations or the disagreements.
Right. And that creates pressure. Some people start thinking, if my relationship doesn't look perfect, maybe something is wrong.
Listeners, here's a useful phrase you can learn. It creates pressure. This means something makes you feel stressed or worried because you feel you must do something perfectly.
Nice explanation, Mira. Let me ask you another question. Do you think love changes as people grow older?
Oh, definitely. I think love feels very exciting and emotional when people are younger. Everything feels intense. But later, love can become calmer and deeper.
That reminds me of something a friend once told me. He said, young love feels like fireworks, but mature love feels like a warm fireplace.
Wow, that's such a nice comparison. Fireworks are bright and exciting, but don't last long. A fireplace gives warmth and comfort for a longer time.
Exactly. And listeners, this is another great example of how English uses comparisons to explain emotions.
Let's talk about something many people experience. Why do you think people sometimes feel nervous when they start liking someone?
I think it happens because they become afraid of rejection. When you like someone, you become emotionally open, and being open can feel scary.
That's very true. Here's another useful phrase for listeners: being open. It means sharing your true thoughts and feelings honestly.
Mira, do you think being emotionally open is easy or difficult for most people?
I think it's difficult, especially at the beginning of relationships. People often worry about saying the wrong thing or showing too much emotion.
Yes, and sometimes people pretend to be someone else because they want to impress the person they like.
That happens a lot, but usually pretending creates more problems later because it's hard to keep acting all the time.
Exactly. Real connections usually happen when people feel comfortable being themselves.
Listeners, here's another natural English sentence you can practice. I feel comfortable being myself around you. That's a very meaningful sentence in relationships and friendships.
Mira, let's talk about first impressions. Do you believe first impressions are important in relationships?
I think they're important, but they're not everything. Sometimes people feel nervous when they meet someone new, so their real personality doesn't show immediately.
That's so true. Some of the best friendships and relationships grow slowly over time.
Yes, sometimes the strongest connections start with simple conversations, not dramatic moments.
Let's give listeners a quick example conversation. I'll pretend to meet someone new, and you respond naturally. Ready?
Ready?
Hi, it's nice to meet you. What do you usually like to do in your free time?
Hi, nice to meet you too. I enjoy reading and going for long walks. What about you?
I like listening to music and trying new restaurants.
See, listeners, that conversation is simple, friendly, and natural. That's how many real conversations begin.
Exactly. You don't need fancy words, just honest interest in the other person.
I want to ask something many listeners might think about. How can someone know if they really like a person or if it's just temporary excitement?
That's a difficult question. I think excitement usually feels fast and intense, but sometimes disappears quickly. Real feelings usually grow slowly and become stronger with time.
I agree. Also, when you truly like someone, you care about their happiness, not just your own.
That's such an important point. Love is not only about receiving attention, it's also about giving support and understanding.
Listeners, here's another useful phrase. I care about your happiness. This shows emotional connection and kindness.
Meera, do you think communication is the most important part of relationships?
Yes, absolutely. Many problems in relationships happen because people don't express their feelings clearly.
That reminds me of something interesting. Sometimes people expect their partner to understand their feelings without saying anything.
Yes, and that almost never works. No one can read minds.
Exactly. Clear communication helps avoid misunderstandings.
Listeners, here is a very useful everyday sentence. Can we talk about how we feel? This is simple, polite, and emotionally mature.
Meera, what do you think makes communication difficult sometimes?
Fear. People worry that honest conversations might create conflict or hurt someone's feelings.
That's very true, but avoiding communication often creates bigger problems later.
Exactly. Honest conversations might feel uncomfortable at first, but they build trust over time.
Trust is another powerful word. Without trust, relationships often become stressful.
Listeners, here's another useful expression. Trust takes time to build. This means trust develops slowly through consistent actions.
Meera, do you think small actions matter more than big romantic gestures?
Yes, I really believe that. Big surprises are exciting, but daily kindness shows true care.
Can you give an example of small actions?
Sure, remembering someone's favorite drink, sending a simple message asking how their day was, listening carefully when they talk.
Those small things create emotional closeness.
Exactly. Relationships often grow stronger through daily attention, not occasional dramatic moments.
Listeners, here's another sentence you can practice. It's the little things that matter most.
Let's talk about something honest. Do you think disagreements are normal in relationships?
Yes, completely normal. Disagreements happen whenever two people have different opinions or expectations.
I agree. Disagreements don't mean the relationship is bad. They often help people understand each other better.
The important thing is how people handle disagreements.
Exactly. Calm discussions usually help. Angry arguments usually create distance.
Listeners, here's a useful phrase. Let's solve this together. This shows teamwork and emotional maturity.
Do you think relationships teach people about themselves?
Definitely. Relationships often show our strengths and weaknesses. They help people grow emotionally.
That's very true. Sometimes relationships teach patience, understanding, and empathy.
Listeners, empathy means understanding another person's feelings and experiences.
If you could give one simple relationship advice in easy English, what would it be?
I would say be honest, be kind, and listen carefully.
That's beautiful and simple advice. Mine would be don't rush feelings. Let relationships grow naturally.
That's great advice too. Many people try to move too fast because they feel excited.
Yes, but strong connections usually grow step by step.
Listeners, here's another motivational sentence. Good relationships take time.
I feel like we talked about many important emotional ideas today, Alex.
Yes, we talked about connection, communication, trust, honesty, and patience.
And we also showed how easy English can express deep feelings.
Exactly. And this conversation is just getting started. We talked about connection, honesty, and communication. I want to continue with something many people struggle with: expectations.
Oh, yes. Expectations can really change how people feel in relationships.
Exactly. Sometimes people don't even realize they have expectations until they feel disappointed.
That's very true. Expectations often stay silent in our minds, but emotions show them clearly.
Let me ask you something. Do you think expectations are always bad?
Not always. I think some expectations are natural. For example, expecting respect or honesty is healthy.
I agree. But problems start when expectations are unrealistic or unspoken.
Yes, when people expect too much without talking about it, misunderstandings happen.
Listeners, here's a very useful phrase. I had different expectations. This sentence helps explain disappointment calmly.
Why do you think people hesitate to talk about expectations openly?
I think many people fear conflict. They worry that talking about expectations might start an argument.
That makes sense, but avoiding the topic usually creates bigger problems later.
Exactly. Silence can feel peaceful at first, but it often leads to emotional distance.
Listeners, notice how Alex said emotional distance. It means feeling less close to someone emotionally.
Meera, let's talk about something related: misunderstandings.
Ah, yes. Misunderstandings are very common in relationships
Why do you think misunderstandings happen so often?
because people communicate differently. Some people speak directly, others expect hints to be understood.
That's such a good point. Different communication styles can easily cause confusion.
Yes, for example, one person might say, "I'm fine," but actually feel upset.
And the other person might believe them literally.
Exactly. That's where problems begin.
Listeners, here's a sentence you can use when things feel unclear. I think there was a misunderstanding.
That sentence sounds polite and calm. It doesn't blame anyone.
Meera, do you think asking questions helps reduce misunderstandings?
Absolutely. Asking gentle questions shows interest and care.
Can you give an example?
Sure. You can say, "Can you help me understand how you feel?" It sounds supportive, not demanding.
That's a great sentence. Very respectful.
Listeners, remember, questions are powerful tools in conversations.
Meera, let's move to another topic people often struggle with: expressing emotions.
Yes, many people find it hard to say how they truly feel.
Why do you think that is?
Because emotions make people feel vulnerable. They worry about being judged or rejected.
That's very honest. Being vulnerable takes courage.
Exactly. But emotional honesty often brings people closer.
Listeners, here's a simple but strong sentence. I feel nervous talking about this.
That sentence is powerful because it shows honesty without pressure.
Meera, do you think emotional expression changes from person to person?
Yes, definitely. Some people express emotions easily. Others need more time.
And both are okay.
Absolutely. There's no single right way to feel.
Listeners, here's another useful phrase. I need some time to think.
That sentence helps when emotions feel overwhelming.
Meera, let's talk about another important part of relationships: listening.
Listening is just as important as speaking.
Sometimes even more important.
Yes, many people listen only to reply, not to understand.
That's true. Real listening means paying attention without interrupting.
Listeners, here's a phrase that shows good listening. I hear what you're saying.
That sentence makes the other person feel understood.
Exactly. Feeling heard builds emotional safety.
Meera, do you think people sometimes avoid listening because they're afraid of what they'll hear?
Yes. Listening deeply means accepting feelings that might be uncomfortable.
That's very true.
But avoiding listening doesn't make emotions disappear.
It just pushes them deeper.
Listeners, remember this sentence. I want to understand you better.
Meera, let's talk about personal space.
Oh, that's an important one.
Some people think love means always being together.
Yes, but healthy relationships need personal space too.
Why is personal space important?
Because people need time for themselves to recharge and reflect.
That's a great explanation.
Listeners, here's a helpful sentence. I need some time for myself.
That sentence sounds honest, not rude.
Exactly. Personal space doesn't mean lack of love.
It often makes relationships stronger.
Let's talk about trust again, but from a different angle.
Sure. What angle are you thinking about?
Trust after mistakes.
Ah, that's a very real topic.
Everyone makes mistakes. The question is how people respond to them.
Yes, mistakes don't always break relationships. Avoiding responsibility does.
Listeners, here's a very important sentence. I'm sorry, I made a mistake.
That sentence takes courage and honesty.
And it opens the door to healing.
Meera, do you think apologizing is difficult for many people?
Yes, because apologizing means accepting fault.
But it also shows maturity.
Exactly. Strong relationships grow through accountability.
Listeners, another useful phrase. I'll try to do better.
That shows effort, not perfection.
Meera, let's do a short role play to show natural English.
Sure, let's do it.
I'll start. Hey, you seem quiet today. Is everything okay?
I'm not upset, but I've been thinking a lot. I need some time to understand my feelings.
That's okay. Take your time. I'm here when you're ready.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Listeners, notice how calm and supportive that conversation sounds.
Yes, no pressure, just understanding.
Meera, do you think patience is underrated in relationships?
Very underrated. People want quick answers and fast emotions.
But emotions don't follow schedules.
Exactly. Patience allows feelings to develop naturally.
Listeners, here's a sentence to practice patience. Let's take this one step at a time.
That sentence is perfect for many situations.
Meera, before we end part 2, let me ask you one last question.
Go ahead.
If someone listening feels confused about their emotions, what would you say to them?
I would say confusion is normal. Feelings don't always make sense immediately. Give yourself time and be kind to yourself.
That's such a comforting message.
And in simple English, too.
That's what Simple English Cast is all about.
Now, I think it's time to talk about something many people quietly experience. Loneliness.
That's a very important topic, Meera. Loneliness doesn't always mean being alone.
Exactly. Someone can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely inside.
Why do you think that happens?
I think loneliness appears when people feel misunderstood or emotionally disconnected.
That makes sense. Physical presence doesn't always mean emotional connection.
Listeners, here's a very simple but powerful sentence. I feel lonely sometimes.
That sentence sounds honest and human.
Yes, and many people feel that way but are afraid to say it.
Meera, do you think society makes loneliness feel like a weakness?
Unfortunately, yes. People are often expected to look happy and confident all the time.
That pressure makes it harder to talk about real emotions.
Exactly. But loneliness is a natural human emotion.
Listeners, remember this. Feeling lonely does not mean something is wrong with you.
Let's talk about relationships and loneliness. Can people feel lonely even when they're in a relationship?
Yes, absolutely. That happens when communication breaks down or emotional needs are ignored.
That's true. Being in a relationship doesn't automatically solve loneliness.
Listeners, here's a useful phrase. I don't feel emotionally connected.
That sentence helps explain feelings clearly without blaming.
Meera, how can people start reducing loneliness?
I think it starts with honest conversations with others and with yourself.
That's a great point.
Also, building connections takes time. Deep connections don't happen instantly.
Listeners, here's another helpful sentence. I want a deeper connection.
Let's move to another topic that often confuses people, self-love.
Ah, yes. Self-love is often misunderstood.
Many people think self-love is selfish.
But it's actually the opposite.
Exactly. Self-love means respecting your own needs and emotions.
Listeners, here's a clear sentence. I'm learning to take care of myself.
That sentence shows growth and awareness.
Meera, why do you think self-love is important in relationships?
Because when people don't value themselves, they often accept unhealthy behavior.
That's very true.
Healthy relationships start with healthy self-respect.
Listeners, here's another phrase. I deserve respect.
Do you think people sometimes stay in relationships out of fear?
Yes. Fear of being alone, fear of change, fear of starting over.
That fear can keep people stuck.
Listeners, here's a sentence that shows courage. I need to do what's best for me.
That sentence can be difficult to say, but it's very powerful.
Meera, let's talk about emotional growth.
Sure, emotional growth happens when people reflect on their experiences.
And learn from mistakes.
Exactly. Mistakes are not failures, they are lessons.
Listeners, here's a helpful mindset sentence. I'm learning from this experience.
How do you think people can grow emotionally?
By listening, reflecting, and being open to change.
I agree. Growth requires honesty.
Meera, let's talk about breakups.
That's a difficult but important topic.
Why do breakups hurt so much?
Because they involve loss of connection, routine, and shared dreams.
That's very true.
Listeners, here's a gentle sentence. This is painful, but I will heal.
That sentence gives hope.
Healing takes time.
And patience.
Exactly.
Listeners, here's another sentence for tough moments. I'm giving myself time to heal.
Do you think people rush healing?
Yes, many people try to distract themselves instead of processing emotions.
But emotions need to be felt, not ignored.
Listeners, remember this. It's okay to feel sad.
Let's shift to something hopeful. New beginnings.
I like that idea.
New beginnings often come after difficult endings.
Yes, growth often comes from pain.
Listeners, here's an encouraging sentence. I'm open to new beginnings.
That sentence feels optimistic.
Do you think people become stronger after emotional challenges?
Absolutely. Emotional strength is built through experience.
I agree. Difficult emotions teach resilience.
Listeners, resilience means the ability to recover from difficulties.
Let's do another short role play.
Great idea.
I'll start. I've been feeling lonely lately, even when I'm around people.
Thank you for telling me. Do you want to talk about what's been bothering you?
Yes, I think talking might help.
I'm here to listen.
Listeners, notice how simple and supportive that conversation is.
Yes, support doesn't require perfect words.
Before we close part 3, I want to ask you one thing.
Sure.
What is one thing you've learned about emotions over time?
I've learned that emotions don't need to be controlled all the time. They need to be understood.
That's a beautiful thought.
And it fits perfectly with what we want listeners to learn.
Simple English, real emotions, honest conversations.
Exactly.
I'd like to talk about something very real. Fear in relationships.
That's a strong topic, Meera. Fear influences many decisions people make about love.
Yes, fear of rejection, fear of being hurt, fear of not being enough.
Why do you think fear shows up so often in emotional situations?
Because emotions matter to us. When something matters, we become afraid of losing it.
That makes sense. Fear is connected to caring.
Exactly. Fear doesn't always mean weakness. Sometimes it means something is important.
Listeners, here's a useful sentence. I'm afraid of getting hurt.
That sentence sounds honest and human.
Meera, do you think fear stops people from expressing love?
Yes, many times. People hold back because they don't want to look vulnerable.
But holding back can also create distance.
Exactly. Not expressing feelings can make relationships feel cold or unclear.
Listeners, here's another helpful phrase. I find it hard to express my feelings.
Let's talk about emotional walls.
Emotional walls?
Yes, when people protect themselves by not letting others get close.
Oh, that's very common.
People build emotional walls after past hurt.
That's understandable.
Yes, but those walls can also block new connections.
Listeners, here's a sentence that explains this well. I'm trying to open up again.
That sentence shows courage and healing.
Meera, do you think trust and fear exist together?
Yes, trust grows slowly while fear can appear suddenly.
That's an interesting way to put it.
Trust requires time and consistent actions.
Listeners, here's another useful sentence. I need time to trust again.
Let's talk about honesty.
Honesty is essential, but it's not always easy.
Exactly. Being honest sometimes risks hurting someone's feelings.
But avoiding honesty often hurts more in the long run.
Yes, Gentle honesty builds stronger foundations.
Listeners, here's a sentence for gentle honesty. I want to be honest with you.
That sentence prepares the listener emotionally.
Meera, do you think honesty should always be immediate?
Not always. Timing matters.
That's important.
Sometimes people need space before difficult conversations.
Listeners, here's a helpful phrase. Can we talk about this later?
Let's talk about emotional safety.
Emotional safety allows people to speak freely.
Yes, it means feeling accepted even when you're not perfect.
That's such a beautiful definition.
Listeners, here's a sentence that shows emotional safety. I feel safe talking to you.
That sentence builds closeness.
Do you think people confuse emotional safety with comfort?
Sometimes, emotional safety doesn't mean no difficult conversations.
Exactly. It means difficult conversations can happen respectfully.
Listeners, remember this. Growth often feels uncomfortable.
Let's move to boundaries.
Boundaries are very important.
Yes, boundaries help people protect their emotional health.
Some people think boundaries push others away.
But healthy boundaries actually bring clarity.
Listeners, here's a clear sentence. I need to set some boundaries.
That sentence sounds firm, but respectful.
Meera, do you think setting boundaries is difficult?
Very difficult for many people, especially those who want to please others.
That's true.
But saying no sometimes is an act of self-respect.
Listeners, here's another phrase. I'm not comfortable with that.
Let's talk about emotional maturity.
Emotional maturity shows in how people handle conflict.
Yes, mature people try to understand, not just react.
Listeners, here's a sentence that shows maturity. Let's talk calmly about this.
That sentence can change the tone of a conversation.
Meera, do you think emotional maturity grows with age?
Not always with age, but with experience and reflection.
That's a good distinction.
Learning from past relationships helps emotional growth.
Listeners, here's another sentence. I've learned a lot from my past experiences.
Let's do one more role play.
Sure.
I'll start. I want to be close, but I'm afraid of getting hurt again.
Thank you for telling me. We can take things slowly. There's no rush.
I appreciate that. It makes me feel safer.
Listeners, notice how patience and understanding are shown through simple words.
Yes, simple English can carry deep meaning.
Meera, before we close part 4, what's one key message you want listeners to remember?
That fear is normal, but it doesn't have to control your choices.
That's powerful.
And talking about fear is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Perfectly said.
We've talked about fear, trust, loneliness, self-love, boundaries, and emotional growth. All the things people actually feel, but don't always talk about.
And we've talked about them in simple English, which is exactly our goal.
Yes, because English is not just a language for exams or work. It's a language for feelings, connections, and everyday life.
Meera, before we wrap up, I want to talk about hope.
I'm glad you said that. Hope is very important, especially after emotional confusion.
Why do you think hope matters so much in relationships?
Because without hope, people stop trying. Hope keeps people open to love, growth, and connection.
That's true. Hope gives people the courage to try again.
Listeners, here's a simple and powerful sentence. I still believe in love.
That sentence sounds gentle but strong.
Yes, belief doesn't mean ignoring pain. It means trusting that good things are still possible.
Meera, do you think people become afraid to hope after bad experiences?
Yes, very often. Pain can make people close their hearts.
But closing your heart also blocks happiness.
Exactly. Healing doesn't mean forgetting the past. It means not letting it control the future.
Listeners, here's another useful sentence. I'm learning to trust again.
That sentence shows healing in progress.
Meera, let's talk about emotional honesty one last time.
Sure. Emotional honesty means being truthful about how you feel, even when it's uncomfortable.
And that honesty should start with yourself.
Yes, if you don't understand your own feelings, it's hard to explain them to others.
Listeners, here's a reflective sentence. I'm trying to understand my feelings.
That sentence is perfect for personal growth.
Meera, do you think people rush relationships because they're afraid of being alone?
Yes, many people prefer a bad relationship over loneliness.
But loneliness can also be a time for self-discovery.
Exactly. Being alone doesn't always mean being lonely.
Listeners, here's an important distinction. I'm alone, but I'm not lonely.
That sentence shows emotional independence.
Meera, let's talk about balance.
Balance between love for others and love for yourself.
Yes, healthy relationships require both.
If you give too much and forget yourself, you feel empty.
And if you only focus on yourself, you miss connection.
Listeners, here's a balanced sentence. I care about you, but I also need to care about myself.
That sentence shows emotional maturity.
Let's talk about growth over time.
Growth doesn't happen overnight.
Yes, emotional growth is slow and sometimes uncomfortable.
But every honest conversation helps.
Every mistake teaches something.
Listeners, here's a motivating sentence. I'm growing little by little.
That's a very realistic and encouraging sentence.
Meera, let's imagine a listener right now who feels confused, tired, and unsure about love.
Okay?
What would you say to them?
I would say this. You are not broken. Your feelings are valid. Confusion is part of growth. Take your time.
That's such a comforting message.
And I'd add, talk about your feelings, even if your English is not perfect.
That's very important.
Because language is a tool, not a test.
Listeners, remember this. You don't need perfect English to express real feelings.
Let's help listeners practice English one last time.
Great idea.
Repeat these sentences slowly when you're alone or with a friend. I feel confused. I want to talk about my feelings. I'm learning about myself. I believe things can get better.
Those sentences are simple but very powerful.
Yes, they are sentences you can actually use in real life.
Meera, what do you personally love about Simple English?
I love that it feels honest. It doesn't try to impress, it tries to connect.
That's exactly the heart of Simple English Cast.
English should feel friendly, not starey.
And conversations should feel safe, not stressful.
Before we say goodbye, let's remind listeners why we started this podcast.
We started Simple English Cast to help people speak with confidence, express emotions, and feel understood.
And to show that learning English can be calm, human, and meaningful.
Listeners, thank you for staying with us through this long conversation.
Thank you for listening, thinking, and learning with us.
And if this episode helped you even a little, that makes us very happy.
And if you want to practice, try this simple question with someone this week. How do you really feel these days?
That question can start deep conversations.
And deep conversations help both language and life.
So, keep speaking, keep listening, keep learning.
And be patient with yourself.
Because growth takes time.
And you're already on the right path.
All right, Meera. I think this is a good place to stop for today.
Yes, it feels like a calm ending. We talked about real feelings, real situations, and real English.
And that's exactly what Simple English Cast is about. Honest conversations in easy English.
If you're listening and thinking, my English is not perfect, remember this, it doesn't need to be.
What matters is that you try to express yourself.
One sentence at a time.
One conversation at a time.
If you enjoyed this episode, take a moment to like and follow Simple English Cast.
It really helps us reach more learners like you.
And tell us in the comments, how did this episode make you feel?
You can write just one line. Simple is enough.
We read every comment, and your stories inspire future episodes.
So keep listening.
Keep practicing,
And keep believing in yourself.
because your voice matters.
This was Simple English Cast.
Thanks for spending your time with us.
See you in the next episode.